Good morning, boys and girls. This is Sally Fang, and welcome to another episode of SmartFox TV.
With your national news. Today is Election Day. Americans have either mailed in their ballot early or are heading to the polls. More than 94 million voters so far. It is projected to be the highest voting turnout in more than a century. Also, there could be 1 million mail-in ballots that do not get counted because of either no signature or late mail-in issues. If you haven't voted or you are on your way to the polls, please be careful. The NBA is facing new problems on when they should start the new season. It was planned to start before Christmas, but the players want to start around Martin Luther King Jr. Day. If the NBA starts around MLK Day, the NBA could lose up to $1 billion. On October 31st, the famous actor Sean Connery passed away at age 90. He was the first actor to become James Bond. He starred in 7 of 26 007 movies. Connery also earned an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for the film The Untouchables. The gray wolf has finally been lifted off the U.S. endangered species list. After 45 years, the number of gray wolves grew from 100 refugees to around 6,000 individuals. A PhD student named Caitlin Kirby defends her dissertation by making all of her rejection letters into a skirt. She made it to normalize rejection and take pride in overcoming it. Way to go, Caitlin. In positive Texan news, an animal sanctuary took on a concept of who saved who, where a child project took shape. The farm cares for injured animals and bonds them with healing friendships with safe haven kids. The ranch has dogs, cats, goats, rabbits, turkeys, chickens, and pigs. The farm rescues these animals that are blind, deaf, have cerebral palsy, diabetes, missing limbs, and other situations and issues, and are paired with children with special needs or emotional trauma. Once they rescue the animals, they have worked with the animals until they earn the trust of the caretakers and then introduce them to the children. One example was an autistic child and a service dog, Angel, who were joined together. Soon, those involved found that the dog, Angel, gave the child confidence and strength. That's all for me on national news.
Good morning, everyone. Kim here, and I wanted to cover a few voting points for Election Day today. First, you must be 18 and older and be a registered voter. You cannot vote online in federal elections. You will have to cast an absentee ballot or visit a polling place. But how do you find your polling place? You can visit www.nass.org/canivote/findyourpollingplace. The link will be in the description. Remember to bring your photo ID and a mask. We are still in a pandemic. Happy voting.
Good morning, everyone. Last week I spoke about disaster preparedness, specifically about having a plan and an emergency kit. This week, in the next part of this multi-part segment, I'd like to get into earthquakes. So if you live in Southern California, you're familiar with earthquakes. You've probably had drills in school and you've probably participated in the Great American Shakeout. But there is more to being prepared for an earthquake than simply finding cover from falling items. Chances are if you're an earthquake, you'll be at home. And because of this, it's a good idea to first take some certain precautions around the house that will help you get safely through an earthquake. First, take a look around the house and make note of everything that could fall, flip, or tilt over during an earthquake. Some of these items include water heaters, bookcases, refrigerators, file cabinets, and tall wardrobes. These items should be anchored against the wall so that during shaking they won't fall over, potentially crushing someone. And this can be as simple as attaching a cord from the top of the item to the wall. Just make sure that it is firmly anchored to the wall. Second, be sure to secure hanging items such as pictures and mirrors, as they can easily become undone during an earthquake. Remember, even if a picture isn't very big, they often have glass in their case, which when broken can cause a dangerous situation. No one should walk around the house in the dark, electricity lost with no light, during an earthquake with broken glass everywhere on the floor. Same could be said about general electronics around the house too. So make sure the TV is firmly set, computers are stable, and audio equipment is in a flat spot. And if you don't want that PlayStation from getting destroyed, be sure it's also securely fastened. Third, it's a really good idea to make sure all cabinets, especially in the kitchen above the counters, have latches that prevent cabinets from opening during an earthquake. And this will help prevent plates and dishes from falling and crashing all over the floor. And just like with glass from a picture, that could cause a dangerous situation. So just imagine all those ceramic bowls and plates you have and all those glasses that could be on the floor at night while you're trying to walk around during an earthquake. Make sure they're fastened. Fourth, and this is the one I'm guessing that most students don't really know about, you really should know where your home's electrical panel is, as well as the shut-off valves, for the water and gas lines into the house. This is critical because if there's a great enough earthquake, these critical systems can get damaged and greatly increase the chance of catastrophic harm. So in most cases, the electrical panel is somewhere by the garage. You could think of this panel as a master switch for all the rooms in your house. From here, you can cut power to various parts of the house, and this could be very useful in the case of an earthquake that does enough damage to expose live electrical wires. And this is something that you definitely want to check out with your parents because, well, electricity can be lethal, and unless you know what you're doing, you do not want to touch it. So it's always a good idea to know where it's at just in case of an emergency, but really leave it to the experts. The same applies with the water and gas shutoff valves. Turning off these valves simply cuts water and gas to the house. In the case of water, it's often like a giant spigot, almost exactly like turning off a faucet. In the case that an earthquake damages your house and water is going everywhere, shutting off the water at the shutoff valve will at least protect the house from getting flooded. The gas shutoff valve is particularly important, as gas is extremely flammable and could cause just as much damage as an earthquake. Gas lines are for experts, but knowing where the gas cutoff valve is crucial for the same reasons as knowing where the water shutoff valve is. The big difference is that gas can explode. This is why any work done to gas lines should be left to professionals, and I cannot stress this enough. This is not something you mess with normally. If there's an emergency, you might see the need to go ahead and shut off the line. However, this is not something you would normally do. It is extremely dangerous and is left for professionals. The bottom line is, earthquakes are a way of life in Southern California, and we should be prepared for when and if another one will happen. Most scientists agree that a big one is coming, maybe not right away, but a large earthquake at some point is extremely likely to happen, and it's best to be prepared. I'd like to thank you for watching this week's version of a Disaster Preparedness. I'm Chris Yates, and until next time. Thanks for watching SmartFox TV. I'm Chris Yates.
I'm Kim.
I'm Sally.
I'm Tracy.
Until next time, stay foxy.
Foxy.
Let me show you something.